10 Media Day, being this different type of environment, different conference?
Yeah, definitely. I think being here just makes the whole transition more real. You know, it was always kind of like, oh yeah, like we're doing this, we know we're doing this, but this kind of makes it more tangible. So it's my first time in Indy. It's been cool. It's obviously a great venue, so excited to be here.
Talk to me about Zachariah Branch and just what the year that he had last year coming into this year. What did you see? You know, just a spring ball, and then coming into the season, what are some of your expectations?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, had a phenomenal freshman year. Just one of those guys that's electric with his ball with the ball in his hands. I think he's done a lot of work in the offseason. Obviously, he ran track for USC, but also just to become a more complete receiver. And I'm really excited to see how our offense continues to get creative and getting him the ball.
Your first game in the Big Ten is
USC football right now, coming off the final second half.
Yeah, sorry, the reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's my business to speculate on the reputation. You know. I think our job is to continue to put ourselves in the best position to go win games, and that's what we're going to focus on. I think whatever the narrative is not going to be the narrative 2 weeks from now, which is going to change in the next few weeks. So that stuff is obviously fluctuates a lot. So we're just worried about putting ourselves in the best position to go succeed.
Miller, when you hear talking heads talking about Lincoln's job status or whether he's on the hot seat, you roll your eyes there. I mean, what is that generally the response when you guys hear that?
I don't know. Like I said, like we're not going to pay any mind to people who have no idea about what goes on within our program and our building. We're focused on winning football games, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
As you prepare for Big Ten defense, you've probably heard this one too, that the style's different with Big Ten defenses, and particularly on that Big Ten West side. I mean, but is there something when you study film of Big Ten defense that you see that is different from what you've been playing against in the Pac-12?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in studying Big Ten defenses, it hasn't been difficult, but in terms of personnel grouping, there's a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, which obviously means 2 and 3 tight ends in at any given point. So some of the formation tape and stuff like that doesn't necessarily always line up with what we're doing. So it's kind of interesting, like finding crossover. Obviously, Ohio State plays in a lot of 11 personnel, so we've studied a ton of their, or I've studied a ton of their film when it comes to studying Big Ten defense. But I think it's exciting. Obviously, it's new, and I think it presents new challenges for us as an offense. So I think we're really excited.
And Lincoln said that the 6 weeks leading up to the bowl, it felt like you were a different team. I mean, how did you feel the same way, or how did you feel that going into that bowl game, the Holiday Bowl?
I did. I think one thing that was unique about that time was everyone that didn't want to be there or that was done with the program moved on. So literally everyone that was there had every intention of being there and wanted to be there and was excited to be there. So I think when you get a group of people that collectively is excited to go win a football game, you usually get a pretty positive result, and that's what we were able to achieve.
There's been a lot of talk around, how USC is going to adjust physicality and deadline
Yeah.
scrimmage of the Big Ten. Conversely, are you interested or just excited to see how Lincoln's offense is kind of going to translate to, again, some of that more slow pace style and how you kind of fit into that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, playing new opponents obviously presents new challenges, but also opens the doors for new opportunities. So I think we're excited about the transition. Excited to go visit some new stadiums, see some parts of the country we haven't seen before. So yeah, absolutely. It absolutely opens the door for new opportunities and also presents new challenges.
What did you see from the defense in the springtime that would lead you to believe that there was good progress made?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's night and day in comparison to previous years. I think for me at least, like I can see Coach Lynn's NFL pedigree in going against his defense, just in that he forces me to continue to be in the right spots and continue to make the next right decision. And like, if you take unnecessary risk against him, he's going to make you pay. So I think you really see his NFL pedigree cross over. And obviously you don't know until you go play a game, but I'm really excited to see that group and how far they've come.
Miller, have you been playing the new video game much?
I have.
Yeah. What's it like just to be in a video game yourself?
It's surreal. I think like I grew up obviously playing that game when I was younger and hadn't gone through the recruiting process and stuff like that. So to be a part of the revival of that game is really special and unique. And
how do you feel about your rating?
I think I'm an 85, which is it's solid, but there's always room to grow. So
Yeah. I was gonna say they keep doing updates like throughout the season.
right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So we'll see where it is at the end of the year.
Miller, how much are you drafting mentally off the bowl performance, just to sustain you going forward?
Not very little to none at all, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a super positive moment for obviously the team and myself, but it's not something that you sit there and say, oh, like I did this, like this is what I'm gonna feed off to give me confidence. I think like you have to have a certain amount of confidence in yourself no matter what happens, because like there is inevitably going to be adversity, and when that adversity comes, you have to have something to fall back on. And I don't think that comes from any result. I think that comes from your process and what you've put into your game and what you've put into the work that you've done. So that was a great moment, and I think it helped us kind of springboard in the off season. But at the end of the day, like that game is over, you know, and it was a special moment, good moment for our team and our program, but now it's time to go play some new people.
Talking to Jonah, he talked about the offensive line literally gaining more
Yeah.
weight to address, I guess, the Big Ten. Are you aware of that? Are you part of that? Or?
Absolutely, there was definitely a concerted effort to add just pure mass, and that makes me feel safer back there. So excited to see those guys just keep getting bigger.
How do you reflect on the evolution of your relationship with Lincoln? Were there some key moments where you really felt you had gained his trust or he had gained yours along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to really gain Coach Riley's trust without being thrown into the fire fully. And obviously, like, you can play lights out in practice. Not that I was lights out every day, I'm not saying that. But, like, you can perform well in a practice setting, but in order to, you know, fully own Coach Riley's trust, I think you need to be thrown in the fire and, you know, have live bullets coming at you. So, I mean, me and Coach Riley have been through a lot together, and I think that's only strengthened our relationship. So he's someone that I truly respect and love playing for, and also someone that I feel I can go to with anything. So I think I'm really lucky to have a head coach like that.
When did you gain the belief that he would ultimately give you a chance to really prove yourself? When did you kind of know that was going to happen at some point?
I mean, following the UCLA game, I think a couple days after, he called me into his office and was like, hey, Caleb's gonna forego the bowl game to go to the draft, and you're starting. So at that point, I was pretty sure.
As a leader, talk about how everyone wanted to be at that whole game. How do you make sure that's the culture in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really has to do with the guys we retained as well as the guys we brought in the portal. I think we were very meticulous in that process and targeting people that not only were excellent players, but were like-minded individuals and really wanted to be here. And I think if you have people like that understand what's going on with the team, understand the mission as a whole, and understand that no one person is bigger than the team, then that really helps when coming together for a common goal.
Some of these Big Ten guys, the incumbent Big Ten guys have been saying today, these West Coast teams, they're not, you know, they're just too used to the sun. They can't stand in the cold. They can't handle the way that the Big Ten runs the football, or big defensive line and all that stuff. Why does that perception exist?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And why is that
wrong? I'm trying to follow my media training. No, I mean, obviously, like, as you go throughout the country geographically, people play different brands of football, and I think that is in large part attributed to the type of player that comes from different places geographically. And so I think to now have some crossover between the two will be interesting and provide for, you know, more exciting matchups. And obviously, like, we'll introduce some intricacies in game plan that we maybe haven't seen before, and whatever the perception is, like, that's what the perception is out. We don't control that until we line up. So
that's media training right there. Miller, in the moments going back to what you talked about, Lincoln pulling you into his office, in the moments after that, you know, knowing that how far you've come and you worked for that shot, what's going through your head, and what was kind of the mentality flip for the 6 weeks following, like, knowing, okay, you're the guy now.
Right.
After that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, to put it plainly, I was just excited for the opportunity. Obviously, it's something I've been preparing for a while. And I think my initial thought was not, like, yay, but, like, oh, we have work to do, you know? Just because there was a lot of groundwork to do to go into that game. There was a lot of ground to make up in terms of who was there and who was going to be there for the game. There was a lot of stuff to be figured out at that point. So it was more about what do we now have to do to go put ourselves in a position to win than, yay, I get a chance to play.
Miller, you're so patient and getting on.
You said why?
Yeah, in this world where you probably could have gone other places, not
Right.
other places.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I have a tremendous appreciation for the university and the people that I work with each and every day. I think it's a tremendous honor to be able to play quarterback for Coach Riley. We had Cliff Kingsbury in the room last year as well, who I have a phenomenal relationship and will always root for no matter what. And I think I had certain goals when I signed to USC, and I wanted to see those through until I couldn't anymore. So I think kind of all of the above right there is why I stayed and stuck it out.
Does
So-
the reputation of what Lincoln is as a quarterback developer,
Right.
and obviously having Cliff there last year, does that make it a little easier knowing that if you stay longer, there's a chance
Right.
that in comparison to going somewhere else, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I think the opportunity to play for Coach Riley obviously is attractive as a quarterback. I think I'd be lying if I said that wasn't the case. I think also the guy I was sitting behind was pretty good as well. So that gave me a little, I don't know, solace in doing so. If you understand kind of that train of thought. But at the end of the day, like it was extremely frustrating not playing. Like I'd be lying if I said that wasn't the case. But I tried to, have some foresight in doing so, and hopefully it's gonna continue to pay off.
What was the point where that patience was tested the most along the way?
I would say the championship game in 22 was a difficult time for me, just in how all that went down. But Caleb was gone for the Heisman shortly after that, and I got to take a majority of the reps following that. So that was a good time for me to kind of instill that confidence in me as a player and stuff like that. So that was definitely the most difficult time.
What was so hard about it?
I mean, obviously, things didn't necessarily go our way that night. Caleb ended up getting injured, and it was just the back and forth was difficult, whether I was going in or not going in or whatever it was. Just obviously a delicate situation. Caleb's a hell of a competitor, and I have a lot of respect for that. I would have done the same thing in his situation. So, especially given the way that we were playing and he was playing as an individual. So, it was just an unfortunate set of circumstances, but definitely difficult to navigate at the time.
What have you done to try and get ready for the radio, helmet communication,
Yeah.